Hello friends, in the last video we did conditions and warranties. We also did implied conditions and warranties. तो उसमें एक लास्ट पार्ट रह गया था सेक्शन 16 ऑफ सेल्स ऑफ गुड्स एक्ट. तो सेक्शन 16 of sales of goods act details us about the implied conditions as to quality or fitness and as to merchantability of goods. Okay, so now in section 16 it also postulates a doctrine of caveat emptor. So what does the caveat emptor means? It means let the buyer beware. Let the buyer be aware. So doctrine of caveat emptor says that let the buyer beware. Okay. So this is what the doctrine is all about. It means that the buyer should himself be careful. He should examine the goods. He should ascertain the goods, and he should, after examining all such things, he should buy the good for the particular purpose which he needs. Later on, if the goods becomes unsuitable, then he cannot blame the seller. So simply caveat emptor means let the buyer be aware. According to this, the buyer himself should be careful while purchasing goods, and he should himself ascertain that the goods suits his purpose. He should himself ascertain, उसको एग्जामिन करना चाहिए goods को, that it suits his purpose. And if it is found unsuitable, then he cannot blame the seller. अब इसमें देखिए जो डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ कैविएट एम्प्टर है, ये थोड़ा सा पहले का डॉक्ट्रिन है. व्हाई? बिकॉज एट दैट टाइम गुड्स वर नॉट दैट सोफिस्टिकेटेड, और जो डिफेक्ट होता था वो सेलर को भी पता नहीं होता था. So buyer had the reasonable opportunity to examine the goods. Okay, but now with the globalized world, this doctrine has been changing to caveat vendor. Let the seller be aware. Let seller be aware. क्योंकि अब देखिए इतने गुड्स की डुप्लीकेट कॉपीज आती हैं, फर्स्ट कॉपी सेकंड कॉपी की, उसका डिफरेंस बायर को कभी एग्जामिनेशन पे समझ ही में नहीं आ सकता. सो सेलर को बेटर पता होता है कि गुड्स में क्या डिफेक्ट है. देयरफॉर नाउ अ लॉट ऑफ बर्डन इज बीन शिफ्टिंग टुवर्ड्स द सेलर. Okay, so but section 16 is talking about the rule of caveat emptor, let the buyer be aware. But this rule, as per section 16, so generally the section 16 is saying that there is no employed warranty or condition as to quality or fitness for any particular purpose of the goods. Okay, general rule तो ये है कि there will be caveat emptor, let the buyer be aware. There is no implied warranty or condition on the seller, but there are two exceptions to it. Two exceptions to it where there will be implied condition as to quality or fitness. So there are two conditions. First, exceptions. First, implied condition as to quality or fitness. So it is section 16(1), where the buyer expressly makes known to the seller the particular purpose for which the goods are required, so as to show that the buyer relies on the seller's skills and judgment. ये important है. बायर को पहले तो एक पर्टिकुलर पर्पस सेलर को बता देना है, एंड लेटर ऑन द बायर मस्ट रिलाई ऑन द सेलर्स स्किल्स एंड जजमेंट, एंड द गुड्स आर ऑफ डिस्क्रिप्शन विच इट इज इन द कोर्स ऑफ सेलर्स बिजनेस. जो सेलर का बिजनेस है उसी के डिस्क्रिप्शन का गुड है. ठीक है, उसी के डिस्क्रिप्शन का गुड है. सो द बायर has to tell the particular purpose for which he needs the goods, and he should rely on the seller's skills and judgment. Then only he can blame later on the seller. Okay, now in this case, if the good is of a specified patent or a trade name, then there is no implied condition as to its fitness. Okay, if it is of a particular patent or a trade name or a brand name, then there is no specified condition or warranty. Why? Because the buyer is then relying on the trade name and brand name and not on the seller's skills and judgment. Okay, so now on this topic there is two three cases. So the first, implied condition as to quality or fitness, section 16 subclause 1, that the buyer should rely on the seller's skills and or judgment. Okay, and the buyer should make know the seller the particular purpose for which the goods are required. Okay, then priest versus last, first case, priest versus last, it is a very important case. In this case, what really happened was that the seller the buyer The buyer went to a seller who was a chemist and asked for a hot water bottle. It is also called hot water bottle case. Hot water bottle. Okay. Hot water bottle. He said that he wanted it for a special case, but he didn't specify the case. The case was that he wanted for his wife who got some cramp. Okay, so for body heat, he wanted. He further asked, so he was relying on the seller's skill. He further asked whether the hot water bottle would stand boiling water or not. उसमें boiling water चलेगा कि नहीं. But the seller said that देखो boiling water शायद ना चले, but hot water will work. Okay, so somewhat he's relying on the seller's skills. Okay, so the hot water bottle, when he bought it, and when his wife was using it, got burst and the wife was injured, so he sued for damages. So आपको क्या लगता है whether seller will be liable for payment or not, because he didn't tell the specific purpose. He just said that he needed it for a special case, but what was that case, he didn't specify that. But in this case, court said that the seller is liable. Seller will be liable. Okay. So what is the reasoning? Since the hot water bottle, the court said that hot water bottle has many uses, and to use it as a body heat is the general purpose of the hot water bottle. So it is not a very particular or a distinct thing that he was using it for an unusual thing. Hot water bottle can be used for body heat. Okay, it seems that the transaction amounts to a contract to supply him with an article reasonably fit for use as a hot water bottle under any circumstances. तो hot water bottle उसको दिया था ना, under any circumstances including the purpose applying heat to human body. So he relied somewhere. He told his mind that he need for a special case, even though he didn't specify that case, and he told that whether it will stand boiling water or not. So that seller told that it will stand hot water, but it didn't. Okay, so in this case, the seller was held to be liable. Okay, the seller was held to be liable. So now Jones versus Padgett. In this case, what really happened was the buyer, he was a woolen merchant, so he ordered uh, indigo blue cloth from a cloth manufacturer. The seller was a cloth manufacturer, so he ordered supply of indigo blue cloth without mentioning the specific purpose for which the cloth was needed. So he used the cloth for the purpose of liveries by tailors. Okay, liveries by tailors. So tailors कोई liveries बना रहे थे, उसके लिए उसने वो cloth लिए थे, but it was found to be unfit. So the court said that the general use of indigo blue cloth is not may not be for the particular purpose of liveries by the tailors. उसका जनरल यूज और बहुत सा हो सकता है. सो सेलर मे नॉट नो इट. हॉट वाटर बॉटल के केस में प्लीज लास्ट में जनरल यूज उसका था टू गिव हीट टू द बॉडी. सो सेलर शुड हैव नोन इट. But in Jones versus Padgett, the general nature of the indigo blue cloth uh, is large, and the seller could not have any idea that it is used for that purpose. So the buyer must have told the seller that for what specific purpose he needs it. So where the seller knows of a general purpose but not of a special purpose contemplated by buyer, seller may fulfill his contract and seller will not be liable because he was not knowing the special purpose. And generally the blue cloth can be applied for a lot of purpose, and seller may not have idea that he will be using it for the purpose of liveries by the tailor. Okay, now to say that every wool manufacturer is bound to know all the ordinary purposes to which the woolen merchant may put the cloth which he buys, that is not possible. Okay, अब वूलन मर्चेंट वो क्लोथ कितने पर्पसेस के लिए यूज करता है, इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर द सेलर टू नो. ओके, सो दिस वाज द केस. नाउ द थर्ड केस इज ब्रिस्टल ट्रैमवेज वर्सेस फिएट मोटर्स. ये केस थोड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है. ठीक है, ये केस थोड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. Priest versus last, and this Bristol tramways is important. In this case, what happened? The buyer, he wanted omnibuses ओमनी बसेस जो कि सेलर वाज सेलिंग, ओमनी बसेस. ओके, omni buses. He wanted omni buses. Okay. So now the buses were required for heavy passenger traffic at Bristol but found to be suitable for touring purposes. Okay. अब इस केस में क्या था? The buyer made known to the seller that for what particular purpose the buses were required. So the buses were required for heavy passengers traffic, but it was found to be suitable for touring purposes. So the court said that the sellers will be liable. The sellers will be liable, and the case is of Section 16, subclause 1. Okay, because the purpose was known and they relied on the seller's skills and judgment. Even if he would have told the brand name omnibuses and later on he relies on the skills and judgment of the seller that he wants it for a heavy traffic purpose, then also this section will apply, even though there is a brand name involved. अगर ब्रांड नेम बताने के बाद भी, जैसे सेक्शन 16(1) के हमने प्रोविजन में देखा था कि अगर कोई ट्रेड नेम है या पेटेंट नेम है देन इट वोंट अप्लाई, बट इन एडिशन टू दिस ही रिलाइज ऑन द सेलर्स जजमेंट. अगर वो कोई और स्पेसिफिकेशन बताता है, जैसे कि इन दिस केस ही टोल्ड दैट ही नीड्स इट फॉर हेवी ट्रैफिक purpose, then in that case this clause will apply and the seller will be liable. Okay, so generally the rule is that doctrine of caveat emptor will apply. Doctrine of caveat emptor will apply, which means that let the buyer be aware. Okay, but there are two exceptions to it. So generally the rule of caveat emptor will apply, let the buyer be aware, but there are two exceptions to it. The first exception is as to quality or fitness, and second exception is of merchantability. Okay, so now this is the second exception, which is of merchantability, where the goods are bought by description from seller, where the goods are bought by description from a seller who deals in goods of that description. ओके, सो एक डिस्क्रिप्शन सेलर ने दिया है और वो उसी गुड्स पे डील करता है. देयर इज एन इम्प्लाइड कंडीशन दैट द गुड शैल बी ऑफ मर्केंटेबल क्वालिटी, बेचने लायक हो. अगर बायर ने एग्जामिन कर लिया है और वो डिफेक्ट जो भी गुड्स में था वो एक नॉर्मल एग्जामिनेशन से पता चल जाता और बायर ने एग्जामिन कर लिया उसके बाद उसने गुड्स लिया, देन द सेलर वोंट बी लायबल. ओके, so in this also there are few cases which we can see. So first is the Bristol one only. So Bristol one was applicable on the section 16 subclause 1, right? But it is also applicable on section 16 subclause 2. Fiat Omni bus were merchantable for light work, but the buyer wanted it for heavy work. So it was in a way not merchantable. Okay, it was in a way not merchantable. Okay, then we have Morley versus Fitzgibbons, in which what happened, the buyer asked for purchase of bottle of Stone's ginger wine from the seller. और जब वो बॉटल, तो वो जिंजर वाइन का बॉटल खरीदता है, जब वो बॉटल खोल रहता है तो बॉटल में एक डिफेक्ट होती है जिससे बॉटल टूट जाता है और बायर को चोट लग जाती है. सो इन दिस केस द बॉटल वॉज नॉट at a merchantable state and therefore seller was held to be liable. Okay, now Thornet versus Beers. So in this case what happened was, it is relating to the examination clause. Okay, that so there was a lot of glue जो चिपकाने के लिए यूज होता है, glue cartons in the go down, और बायर ने वो सारे कार्टन्स खरीदे थे. सेलर ने उसको अपने गोडाउन ले भी गया था और उसको अपॉर्चुनिटी दी थी फॉर द एग्जामिनेशन, बट बायर ने बिकॉज ही वॉज आउट ऑफ टाइम या कोई जल्दी में था, उसने वो कार्टन्स खोल के देखे नहीं. सो ही गॉट द रीजनेबल अपॉर्चुनिटी टू एग्जामिन द कार्टन. लेटर ऑन ग्लूस में डिफेक्ट थे, तो जो डिफेक्ट थे देन ही कैन नॉट ब्लेम इट ऑन the seller. Why? Because seller gave him reasonable time. If the buyer has examined the goods, or and there shall be no as the regard to defect which such examination ought to have revealed. If he would have examined it, then such defect in goods would have been relieved at that point of time. So he didn't utilize his opportunity, therefore now he cannot blame. Okay. Now the last case, आर एस ठाकुर वर्सेस एनसीईसी कॉर्पोरेशन, इसमें उसने रेडियो लिया था. द बायर purchased a radio set from defendant's firm, but radio set started giving him trouble about 2 months from its purchase. Okay, so the present case, the court further held that अब क्योंकि इसमें ये it was not fit for the purpose of radio, then it is also under section 16(1) implied condition as to fitness, but it also comes within the purview of section 16(2). Okay, even if the goods are sold by description and if they are sold by a seller who deals in goods of that description, then there is implied condition as to mercantableness of the good, क्योंकि जो seller था he was selling the goods of radio only. Okay, so he gave a good which was not of a mercantable quality, so even section 16 sub clause 2 will also apply here. Okay, now if I ask what is the distinction, what is the distinction between section 16 subclause 1, which is relating to fitness of goods for a particular purpose, distinction, and section 16 subclause 2, which is relating to mercantability. ओके, तो देखिए ये जो है distinction, if you see, so what I basically it is, what is the distinction between implied condition as to quality or fitness, and implied condition as to mercantable quality, सेक्शन 16 सब क्लॉज 2. ठीक है, तो दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस है? तो देखिए, अगर आपको सेक्शन 16 सब क्लॉज 1 का एडवांटेज लेना है, देन द बायर मस्ट हैव रिलाइड ऑन सेलर स्किल्स एंड जजमेंट. 16 सब क्लॉज 1 में सेलर्स स्किल एंड जजमेंट, बट 16 सब क्लॉज 2 में देयर इज नो सच रिक्वायरमेंट. ओके, to import the condition of mercantable quality. And if the goods are bought under a brand name or a patent or a trade, then fitness will not apply. Quality and fitness will not apply. Okay, but here it will apply. It can apply. It can apply on brand or trade name also. On brand or ट्रेड नेम ऑल्सो, क्योंकि गुड्स की क्वालिटी तो कोई अगर ब्रांड का है या कोई ट्रेड नेम का है, बट अगर सेलर ने उसको सही मार्केटेबल क्वालिटी में नहीं दिया, मार्केटेबल क्वालिटी मतलब फिट टू सेल अगेन. ओके, मार्केटेबल क्वालिटी में नहीं दिया, देन दिस कंडीशन विल अप्लाई. there is an implied condition, section 16 sub clause 2, that there is an implied condition of mercantability. Okay, so that will also apply on the patent or trade name. If a good is of a particular brand but the seller has not sold it on a mercantable state, then this condition can be applied. This condition will not apply only in the case where the buyer has a particular purpose in his mind and that good is unsuitable for that purpose. Why? Because he didn't relied on the seller skills and judgment, he relied on the brand value, okay, or the patent or trademark value. Okay, so this is the small distinction between these two. So what we saw is, we saw the rule of caveat emptor, let the buyer be aware. Okay, let the buyer be aware and buyer be careful while buying goods. Okay, and it has two exceptions. First, implied condition as to quality or fitness. ओके, सबसे पहला क्वालिटी और फिटनेस के लिए है. ठीक है, इसमें क्या है कि द buyer has to rely on the seller's skills and judgment, and the buyer must tell the seller the particular purpose for which good is required. Okay. And in the second case, where the goods are bought by description from the seller, the goods must be in the merchantable quality. In the merchantable quality. Okay, so the goods must be of merchantable quality. So these are the two exceptions where the rule of caveat emptor won't be applied, and there will be implied condition as to quality or fitness, and there will be implied condition and warranty as to merchantability. So thank you all. This was all about rule of caveat emptor.